What's up guys, welcome to the Chess Giant. This is Solomon Riddell, and today I wanted to give again a shout out to my guy Victor Chavez as he recommended the Morphy Gambit of the Petrov Defense. This is also called the Urusov Gambit by some, and honestly before Victor recommended it, I didn't really know a ton about the opening. But the more I've researched it and studied it, this opening is dangerous and sound, and this isn't one of those dumb gambits where you hope the opponent makes a silly mistake. But this opening can be played at the master level, and really it's a response to the Petrov Defense, which starts off with e4, e5, knight f3, and now knight c6. We have the Petrov Defense. Most of the time here in the main line, white will play knight takes e5, but in the Morphy Gambit we play bishop c4, attacking the pawn on f7 and allowing black to take on e4. Now most of the time, black actually isn't going to take the pawn, but instead play the move knight c6. And logically, this move makes a lot of sense. You're developing the knight and also defending the pawn on e5, which this knight on f3 is attacking. And honestly, guys, in this position, we now have transposed to the Italian game the two knights defense. We can play d3, knight c3, queen e2. I mean, there's so many different options here. But if you guys love crazy attacking chess, I personally recommend the fried liver attack with knight g5. And I actually made 3 videos on this opening, and I'll leave those in the description below. And really, if not careful, black can get in a lot of trouble very quickly. Here black is forced to play the move d5, and following e takes d5, the best 2 moves for black are either b5 or knight a5, but a good amount of the time black is gonna play knight takes d5, in which case we now take on f7, absolutely crazy move, and following king takes f7 we now have queen f3 check, attacking the king on f7 and the knight on d5, and if the king steps back to g8 we can take on d5 with the bishop, and the game is going to end very quickly. So now black is forced to play king e6, marching the king up the board, and we're able to play knight c3, and now as you guys can see we have a bishop, knight, and queen all really coming down on that knight on d5, and now black is forced to play the move knight e7, in which case we can now break open the position with d4. As you guys can see, the king on e6 is very exposed, and whenever your opponent's king is exposed in the game of chess, you really want to try to break things open. After the move d4, if black does take the pawn, we can now take on d5, and following knight takes d5, play queen e4 check, centralizing the queen and attacking the king on e6. And following a move like king f6, we can take the pawn with check, and following king g6, snatch the knight off the board. And here white is completely winning up a pawn, and on top of that, well, the king on g6 isn't doing very well. So guys, that was a brief introduction to the fried liver attack with knight c6 and knight g5. Let's now take a look at the move knight takes e4. What on earth does white do in this case? Well, now instead of just taking the pawn on e5, what we're going to do is play knight c3. And against knight c3, the most popular option is knight c6. Many of you are probably wondering why the heck is black hanging a knight on e4, but the idea is that after knight takes e4, now black can play d5, forking the bishop and the knight, and now we're able to play bishop d3, and following d takes e4, take on e4, and after a move like bishop d6, we can castle kingside, next play a move like rook e1, and I would say this position is pretty even, maybe a slight advantage to white. Going back to this position, as we just mentioned, we went over this knight c6 variation. What about the move knight f6? What if black just decides to bring the knight back? Well, in this case, we can now take on e5, and following d5, now play bishop b3. Now, black can't push with d4 because the f7 pawn would be weak. So black has to play a move like bishop e7, and now we're able to gain control of the center with d4. And following a move like castles, we can now castle, followed by playing f4, and white has some really good attacking chances. So guys, I hope you all enjoyed the vid. Again, Victor, thanks for recommending this opening. I actually learned a lot by making this video, and honestly, you guys, I have a lot more fun making these when I know people will enjoy them. So keep throwing openings my way, guys. Subscribe for more chess content, and I'm wishing y'all a great day. Peace. Thanks for watching today's video. If you'd like to watch another one, you can click or tap up here. And I've got a lot more high quality chess content on the way. So if you'd like to subscribe, you can click or tap down here. I really appreciate your support.